3, 2, 1.
Very hard to do in Los Angeles right now as an art maker, as an artist.
Do you get people coming at you with the thing that I was exposed to a lot, having gone through art school in a particular kind of time, which is the whole death of painting thing?
Only from people that can't paint.
Yeah.
Oh, look. No, I don't. I mean, as you can see, we've kind of isolated ourselves here, and that was kind of intentional in that I lived in the eastern suburbs and I did what I said, all that lower North Shore, Paddington, I had a studio in Surrey Hills and then in Crown Street, in the thick of it. And the more professional I became, the less I needed all that noise around me, and I certainly didn't need other people's opinions on what I should paint. And it's a hard road, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people left along the wayside, and you kind of can read through a lot of that stuff. So in a way it's kind of just nice not to have to listen to it. I'm aware of it. I mean, God, I live with Danny, he's right there in the thick of the contemporary art world. I understand that side of things as well. I am just happy that I get to paint pictures and sell them. But it's not a matter of, going to bed at 2 a.m, pissed, and then waking up, glug, have another drink, and there you go. It's actually a lot of work and a lot of concentration and a lot of dedication to get to a point where you're feeling a little more secure in what you're doing.
Well, I think in some respects, when I think back to art school, one of the positive things I always say about going to art school is that you get that kind of, you get a peer group that is always going to be there and people drop by the wayside and that kind of thing. But I also think to some extent, on the negative side, that the experience of art school can be extremely prescriptive in that there is no way I would have got away with
painting one of these.
Yeah. In 1992 at Sydney College of the Arts.
Yeah, of course. And look, when I didn't really know what I was doing, I was deeply affected by what other people were doing.
Yeah.
And experimented and all of those sorts of things, and had favourite artists and, imitated favourite artists from Nolan and Bacon and, whoever else was kind of, and Whiteley and all sorts of people in different areas. But it was always about paint. I wasn't really interested in kind of exploring conceptual stuff.
Yeah.
And when I first met a few conceptual artists, I was like, oh, well, that's interesting in terms of what they're trying to say, and valid in itself, but it's not what was interesting me. There's a certain irony in my life in that I have led a very kind of rebellious, follow my own star kind of life. And then the flip side of that is that I'm doing really traditional work that requires so much kind of technical prowess and ability and structure and all of those things. So I'm just confused who I am, Kit. I've got no idea. I mean, a lot of my personality, I should be that kind of, throw the paint on the canvas, drunk. There you go. I should be that person.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking about recently, because this article I've been writing for ArtLink, that's
oh well, yeah. I read, Danny read some of that to me, talking about the dichotomy of my personality versus my paintings. But I kind of like that. That is actually who I am.
Yeah.
I like the challenge. I like to challenge people's preconceived ideas in a way. I suppose, the artist's life is an artwork in itself, to be a bit corny, but it is, you know what I mean? Just the way that you live and what you surround yourself with. And so I suppose I get to express both sides. Yeah. I would never be satisfied just, with a bucket of paint going, there you go, there's your painting.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be satisfied with that.
Do you ever get people who collect your work, who meet you and you throw them?
Yeah, all the time. Oh, I wasn't expecting you to look like that. Yeah. I've just got it recently. I wasn't expecting you. So
what were you expecting?
Look, I'm embarrassed half the time. I'm a bit like, oh, look, I apologise that I'm not, wearing a cravat. But look, I suppose, I'm not embarrassed, that's not the right word, but I'm aware of it, you know what I mean? But I couldn't give a shit in the end.
Absolutely.
I mean, if I do a show, I try to kind of dress up a bit for the opening and stuff. I don't want to look too, out of place, but it doesn't really matter. I don't know what people want or expect, so I certainly don't kind of want to meet that.
Yeah. And I think the fact that you're not this cravat-wearing kind of artist, which, some people might expect looking at your work that you are, I think that probably adds to, your mystique is a kind of a,
But look, there's a certain order and, what's the word? There's a certain order and structure in the paintings that I'm doing.
Yeah.
And maybe that's something that I'm trying to kind of, hang on to in my own life, or that we all are trying to hang on to, because, having, again, left school and home at a very young age, and with those kind of thoughts ingrained in your head that you're set to fail, maybe painting, I'm only thinking out loud here, maybe painting in the style that I do has been to kind of anchor me in a way, or not apologise for myself, but to try and prove myself or prove everybody else wrong. I don't know. I don't know. Again, I haven't really thought about it too much. Whether the market's driven me to paint the pictures I paint, I don't know either. I don't really care. It's a little bit like, look, I'm actually painting pictures and enjoying it and selling them, so fuck it, I'm just going to do what I want to do. And so there's that same rebellious side. I'm just going to do what I want to do.
But I think also that there is a big element of, with no irony here, there's a big element of your personality, I think, in your work, insofar as I can see a very direct resonance and link between what you paint and the garden that you have.
Of course, and
the garden is a very direct,
and maybe it's always just, it's just about making a perfect world. Maybe it is as simple as that, making a beautiful painting and a beautiful garden, and, so I don't have to look at the horrors in the world. I mean, I'm just very lucky that I'm living in a time when I can actually, sell paintings, and it's all very nice, and, we're all kind of safe and rich and happy in a way. Imagine all of a sudden we're in some huge war. What's going to happen to me? No one's going to be buying art, are they? So off to Bunnings I go. So, I am lucky to be kind of living in a time when I can do the sort of work and sell and all of that. And I appreciate that, and I'm aware of it, and just hope things continue the way they go. So, and again, maybe it is just about talking about a perfect world and all of that. So, I mean, you can analyse and dig deep, can't you, on everything. So, I was really affected by some kind of Spanish still life paintings in a book that I saw in the Waverley Library in about but well before I met Danny, in the early 90s, that really kind of direct, austere still life painting with the dark backgrounds, the really perfectly kind of perceived and executed work, in quite kind of, direct compositions, uncomplicated, and it really affected me. There was something kind of almost surreal about the work, but still very real, but really kind of wasn't just the silence or the way it was painted. There was something about the imagery that really struck me, and still does, that kind of keeps me on track with the work I'm doing. Because a lot of still life painting really just, when it doesn't appeal to me, there's only a particular sort that does. So, I'm getting to explore those sort of ideas for years and years and years, and try and not imitate it, but know that that's kind of a starting point to what I'm trying to do. So again, it's just the process of painting and actually creating something that I really enjoy. And, the whole process is becoming more and more satisfying the older I'm getting, which is a great thing to say. A lot of people find it really frustrating the older they're getting. So, in a way, maybe I even mapped this out for myself. That I would choose something that I could really concentrate on forever and just get it better,
I think maybe also go back to the very first question I had about the unorthodox in the sense of not going through art school. I think that maybe not going through that system has actually made you think more about the continual kind of development of what you do, rather than you leave art school, you establish a practice within the first couple of years, and then you kind of repeat the same thing over and over again. I mean, yours is a much more steady.
Yeah, I don't know, because I didn't go to art school. Art school for me when I was younger, not having been to art school, the concept of art school is that, you went there and learned how to paint. It's only as I've got older and I've kind of surrounded myself with people that did go to art school, or not surrounded, but no, they didn't learn to paint. It was all up here and all of that. I would have run screaming from all of that.
Yeah.
Because I just like to find out for myself. When I travel, I love to travel on my own. I like to kind of not really know where I'm going to end up. It's the exploration that I really enjoy, So to kind of have to kind of conceptualise and articulate and all of that would have been quite boring for me, I suppose, because, there wouldn't be enough getting your hands dirty kind of stuff. So I wasn't really aware of that until probably meeting Danny about that side of the art world, and that kind of more constipated side of the art, want of a better word. But it's all valid, it's all valid. I get it. I certainly get it. I'm not stupid. I kind of understand the important, well, maybe not. See, I don't see art as important as what it tries to make itself out to be. I certainly think it's important, and, has its place, but the preciousness that's kind of associated with it now, and the kind of careerists that it's kind of breeding, for me it takes a bit of the fun out of it, and the actual, I'm a little bit old school, an artist was kind of meant to kind of not really care about those things so much, but it's become so important, and it's, and the kind of hierarchy in watching people's careers and all of that sort of stuff has become so important, and I think it takes some of the actual joy away from the creating of it.
Has living in Cessnock and very much kind of setting roots down now in this studio, the compound generally, has that helped you think in terms of the be too closely thinking about those sort of things?
Well, now I've got to think about how we kind of got here. We got here because we need the space more than anything. You'd never get this space. We also, as I said earlier, we got here because we didn't really need to be surrounded by, the noise of the art world. It was really about creating. So I kind of laughed actually when we were coming back from Newcastle the other night. I laughed at Danny. How the hell did we end up in Cessnock? Because seriously, when I was a teenager or in my 20s, I would have lasted like half an hour here. Even when we used to live out in the hills in Wollombi, Cessnock was like, oh fuck. But, circumstances got us here, and I kind of like that it's not an artistic kind of town. It's actually the opposite, and they leave us alone, they really do, and that's kind of nice. There's a lot of good things here in the space, and being in the country, and being very, 5 sets of traffic lights, you get a park wherever you want. There's a lot of good things about it. There's also, the mind-numbing suburban aspect of it is something that I couldn't have dealt with when I was younger, but now I'm a bit more self-sufficient. It's kind of like you're observing it, but you're not partaking in it. And, you kind of hang your head and go, oh, well, what are you doing?
I suppose also you get the choice as to whether you dip in and dip out of the various kind of, the capital cities as well.
Yeah, I mean,
look, travel a fair bit, don't you? And also in the country.
Yeah, less and less. I mean, I go to Sydney less and less. I only really go there for work stuff now. Sydney's just, I don't know whether it's, no, I think it's Sydney. It's just become so impossible to actually get in there and enjoy yourself without spending like about $500. you know, and I have to take my vehicle down there. I have no choice, which kind of really ties me up. So it's just not a lot of fun anymore. And, you know, the days of wanting to kind of go out all night and do all of that, they're gone behind me. I mean, I don't know what the fuck we're doing. I kind of look at the life that we've created here and I don't know what we're doing, but it seems to be okay. I try not to kind of... I mean, I used to be a little scared of Cessnock because of, you know, well, it's got one of the biggest jails here and, you know, it's really working class coal mining. I used to and think, you know, fucking how is this going to work? But it's been fine, it's been great. People are great. They're friendly and it's country town, so they still wave and say hello and all of that. I mean, it's got its fair share of dead shits and, you know, meth heads and all of that sort of stuff, but...
That's
you know,
anywhere.
you're going to get... Sorry?
That's anywhere.
That's anywhere, yeah, of course. But, you know, it's pretty laid back and it's kind of like still 1975 here. And I like the 70s. They were boring, but, you know, they were harmless. Well, except for all the kind of other stuff that went on. But, you know, the music was okay.
Well, thanks very much, Phil. That was
All right.
talking to you. Thank you.
I'm going on a tangent there.